Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are delighted to be able to host this webinar and highlight some of the master's and doctoral programs within our School of Education. My name is Caitlin Irvin. I'm here at Regent University, and again, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to you all. Before we jump into the information and hear from some of our faculty this evening, I would like to go over a couple of housekeeping items. If you are new or need a refresher on the Zoom webinar platform, there are two features tonight that you're going to want to pay attention to. The first is the chat box, where you can interact with us. Feel free as you're attending to let us know which programs you're interested in, so that way we can take note of that. We will also be inserting or copying some links in the chat as well to some of the information that we'll be covering tonight. So that's a great place for you to look and see those links and be able to click on those right away to get to the information that we're covering. The other feature that I want to draw your attention to is the Q&A box. So if you have any questions, either throughout the webinar or towards the end of the presentations, please go ahead and type those into the Q&A box. We've got a team behind the scenes that will be able to either answer your questions during the webinar if it's a more personal question, or we can go ahead and ask our faculty at the very end of the webinar after they've presented, and they can answer those live as well. And that's a great place to put those questions so that they don't get lost in the midst of all of the links and other things going on in the chat box. So without further ado, let's jump in. I would like to briefly touch on who we are as a university here at Regent. So we are a private Christian university located in Virginia Beach, and our three core values are excellence, innovation, and integrity. And everything that we do, both in and out of the classroom, is focused around these three core values. We seek to be an institution that really explores the relationship between faith and reason, and how those two pillars will really drive you to be a leader in whatever field it is, particularly the field of education. That's our motto: Christian leadership to change the world. And that's our mission here. We are really focused on equipping you and empowering you to go out and change the world through your leadership, through your knowledge and your skill set. A couple other things, you can take a look at these 6 buzzwords over here on the right-hand side of the screen. These are just some other things that we offer here at Regent to you as a student. We try to make sure that education is very accessible to you. It's very flexible through both our online offerings and even our on-campus offerings. We are in the top 5% of most affordable Christian universities in the country, so we're providing that affordability for you. But even though we make things flexible and affordable and accessible, we are not sacrificing quality. You are going to be receiving high quality instruction from high quality faculty. And again, underlying it all is a Christ-centered education that's going to ground everything that you're learning. Tonight, I'm excited to introduce some of those faculty that we are going to be learning from in just a minute. But first, I want to talk about our commitment to you through the School of Education here at Regent. We are committed, again, as I said, to really exploring that relationship between faith and knowledge. We want to show and demonstrate the power of knowledge. We want to integrate faith into everything that you're learning and show you how you can integrate that faith into your work as well. And then, of course, keep you apprised of all of the most up-to-date theories, practices, and how you can really be the best educator that you can be. And that's part of that innovation piece as well. So tonight we are joined by two of our esteemed faculty members, Dr. Jeff Pittman, who he's been at Regent for many years, and he has filled many different roles, including over 9 years as our Vice President for Student Services. He was also an Associate Dean in our School of Divinity, among many other roles. He actively serves in a few of our education-centered organizations, including the Southern Association of College Student Affairs. He also contributes to several publications, including the International Journal of Emergency Mental Health and the Leadership Exchange. And then you'll be hearing from Dr. Paul Carr. He joined Regent back in July of 2000, and he chairs our educational psychology program. Previously, he's taught a master's and doctoral level courses in educational technology leadership program, educational leadership program, and human resource development program. And he is also a native of Norfolk, Virginia, which is right next to Virginia Beach. So he's from the area and knows it well. So without further ado, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Jeff Pittman to talk about the M.Ed and student affairs.
Caitlin, thank you so much, and welcome everyone. Thank you for taking time to join us this evening to talk about some of our, Dr. Carr and I think some of our best programs in the School of Education. So the first one I want to talk about is our M.Ed in Student Affairs. And it's a 30 credit hour program online for part-time students. You can complete this master's degree in 5 semesters, and it includes 9 courses and a 3 credit hour internship. And as your PowerPoint indicates, it really is designed to equip students with knowledge, of course, being an educational program, but also skills and understanding to enhance whatever you're doing in a higher education career currently, or certainly to help propel you into a higher position in a college or university environment. And roughly 2/3 of the individuals in this program are currently working in higher education. And then of course we always and currently have some students who are working in other areas, some in K-12 education, but some not even in education, but they realize that they've been called to work with college students. And so this program is designed to equip individuals to really get the skills, the knowledge, to be prepared to work throughout student affairs departments. And so, Caitlin, if we can go to the next slide, we'll talk about some career things. So as you see, there's a breadth here of departments in student affairs that this program is designed to get you prepared for. And as you see, it really runs the gamut. Of course, admissions and advising, enrollment management is something that in recent years has become critical to colleges and universities. Much more so in the last 10 years than previously. But you also see auxiliary services, residence life, orientation, and even as we move into some senior level of administrative leadership, dean of students kinds of roles, assistant VPs, and then other kinds of leadership things in student affairs departments. So again, this is a marvelous program that we do cover some theory, but really the program is designed to, I guess they would say in the Army, put boots on the ground. It's really designed to get you the skills and the knowledge to excel in a student affairs role at a variety of colleges and universities around the country. So we can move on now to the higher education postmasters programs. And as you see, that could be an EDS, an EDD, or a Doctor of Philosophy degree. The higher education degree and the one that I'll cover, the program I'll cover in a few minutes, Helm, have an overlap of several courses. I guess the distinctive I'd want to highlight for you tonight is that the higher education concentration focuses on helping individuals become prepared as faculty members or academic administrators in particular. Since the program, while it deals with several and has several different courses related to administration and strategic planning, it also has a pretty big focus regarding curriculum and assessment, some accreditation kinds of things, and then areas that really enhance careers and academics. And so let's move to careers in this field. Caitlin, thank you. So career opportunities include things like academic dean, department or division chair, senior leadership roles, university faculty, and so a variety there. And of course, the $90,000 figure there, I think, is very attractive. And of course, obviously that it depends on the type of institution that one works in and the type of role one has. But this Postmasters area of concentration really does help, not unlike student affairs, to equip individuals to excel in faculty and academic type roles at universities and colleges. And the next program is Helm, Higher Education, Leadership and Management. And this program does have some commonality with the higher ed program. However, Helm is primarily focused on those who desire to either are currently serving in some type of leadership role in higher ed, or those who really aspire to senior or executive leadership positions in administration. And so, as the bullets kind of point out, the goal really is to equip individuals to deal with how to use resources in a college or university, how to do strategic planning, how really to devise policies and practices, work with the president and the board of trustees to ensure institutional viability. And of course, as we've considered the pandemic over the last year and the dramatic changes that pandemic has caused in our society and also in higher education, being equipped as a wise steward of resources, sound management, using sound management skills, and also understanding the role of academic scholarship and the various disciplines that we address in teaching in colleges and universities is critical. And this degree equips individuals to do that. And so let's look at some careers that one might pursue with a Helm degree. And that would be things like university president or provost, vice president, assistant or associate VP, academic deans, associate assistant deans, and then others senior leadership roles. And of course, society is changing. Higher education is also in a huge innovative period right now, with many institutions, because of COVID, moving to online instruction, which is very different for many faculty at many institutions. And so change abounds, opportunities to direct change, to do it well, and to ensure we're meeting the needs of the students that colleges and universities serves is critical. And of course, that is the goal of our Postmasters programs in the School of Education, and certainly as program chair, higher education and Helm, to equip you to be a successful senior leader. So with all that said, of course, I'll be available in a few minutes for questions, but I'd like to turn it over right now to my colleague and my friend, Dr. Paul Carr.
Well, thank you, Dr. Pittman. I hope everyone can see me okay, and I hope you can hear me well. I appreciate the opportunity to be here to talk with everyone about the education psychology program. both the EDS, the EDD, and the PhD levels. I'm really excited about these programs, and it's because of a couple of levels. I'm not just going to read these slides to you, so I thought I would gloss them, but here's something that's really interesting. Our vision is to provide avenues where learners can engage in academic pursuits and they can just change their lives with this. Our mission is to create nurturing environments that are conducive to learning and success on behalf of everyone involved in the programs. We do have the program particulars down here. The EDS is 31 to 33 credit hours, and all the way up to the PhD, which is 75 to 77 credit hours. Caitlin, if you go to the next slide, please. Let's think about this for a minute. I can offer a lot of particulars for you regarding the program of study and what we do and the topics of inquiry. But let me just point out some things about the program as a whole, about the individual and collective programs. We have people who are in education specialists, Doctor of Education and Doctor of Philosophy in Education Psychology. And I'd like to point out from the outset that the study of education psychology is malleable, and it encompasses a great deal of fields of inquiry for the learner. So it offers a great deal of opportunity for people to think about what they want to do and then perhaps allow the program to work for them, where they might even change their course of what they're interested in doing. One thing that sets us apart is how we go about the facilitation of learning in the program. This is not, it is the e-learning platform. They're online courses. However, our distinctive, and one thing that makes us different than other programs and other institutions, is because this is not learning done in isolation. It's not like like some type of a program where one goes in there and there's nobody else around. Okay, it's asynchronous learning, but we do have synchronous events such as collaborate sessions, and we have telephone calls, we have Zoom sessions, and we meet and we talk about these things. And I believe I'm very astute at constructing the assignments purposefully vague so that students will contact me, and we're in contact via telephone, and we're in contact in all kinds of other ways. So it's not like a correspondence course or learning done in isolation. Okay. Now, saying that about how we go about the business of facilitating learning, what the goal is for you to enter the program and for you to create habits of mind that'll last a lifetime during the program. You'll meet a colleague base of people that you can't get or buy anywhere. I introduce some of the top people in the field in autonomous learning, self-directed learning, organizational leadership, organizational education psychology. And so it can work well for people who are interested in either being in the educational field or in organizations. Okay. Or education psychology, the study of this is not psychology, so to speak, like might be in a psychology program like the School of Psychology and Counseling here. The thing that sets it apart from the outset is that we're looking at the psychology of learning, how people learn and how they apply those learning skills they've attained here. So the concentration builds upon the interest of the learners and creates environments to facilitate their learning. In essence, the concentration requires learners to be resourceful learners who are assuming the responsibility for their learning, and they end up with a great deal of self-efficacy, confidence in what they have learned, and also a colleague base that's just second to none. Caitlin, would you mind going to the next one, please? I think we perhaps skipped one or two. Did we? Okay, well, anyway, what I'd like to do is I had a slide in there related to some of the types of work people could do once they get out of here. Where does it go? And as I mentioned previously, education psychology, the field is malleable, And we have people who are scientists, we have people who are chief learning officers for hospitals and healthcare organizations. We have a college president from a Christian school. We have people who are professors, people who are administrators, and we have scholars from all over the gamut, where education psychology is a pertinent and viable study of inquiry. One thing I might say to you before I kick it back to Professor Pittman and to Caitlin is that, before we take questions, is that if you're in a doctoral program here and you're studying in the education psychology program, we just flat do things differently. You create a colleague base of people who are supporting you. We create environments conducive to learning and success. We're not going to just be a vending machine for grades and assess your progress. We're going to help you get there. Another thing that I think is very important for us to discuss is I need to point out the fact that in this program, you may enter the program wanting to earn a doctor's degree. I have higher goals for you. What I want you to do is become a doctor during this process. You're not just going to gain the credential and roll with it. You're going to be becoming a doctor during the process. So with that, I'll put it on hold for a moment and kick it back to Dr. Pittman.
Thank you, Dr. Carr. And Caitlin, do you want to cover the Get Connected? And then I guess we can hit some questions.
Absolutely. And I wanted to jump back here quickly and bring up this slide, which I had skipped a little bit earlier, just to give you a sense for our School of Education as a whole and what the quality that you can be expecting. Again, it was great to hear from both Drs. Pittman and Carr about these specific programs, but I just wanted to put this up here to give you a sense for the quality, the fact that, we have alumni that have gone on to do great things and be recognized for that work. All of the accreditations and just outside, external accolades that have been granted to these programs. Other people, third parties, are recognizing the quality of these programs, and so you're going to benefit from that as a student. So I just wanted to point that out to you. With that, I'm going to throw up this slide here. If you have any questions, please at this time feel free to put them in the Q&A box for us. But if you have any questions even after this webinar is over, here is our contact information. Please give us a call, send us an email, visit our website. We would love to help you. We're here as a resource for you to help you through this process as you are figuring out your next steps in your education. We did have a couple of questions come through, though, that I am going to ask aloud, and then feel free, either Dr. Pittman or Dr. Carr, answer, depending on, whoever would like to answer is welcome. One thing I was wondering, can you talk a little bit about the doctoral residency? Someone asked, what can they expect from their doctoral residency for the Doctor of Education and the
Yes, Caitlin, and this is Dr. Pittman, and I can take that. And of course, the pandemic this past year created some havoc with our residency because of the need for social distancing and our concern for safety for students, faculty, and staff. So that's an evolving thing. But what typically has happened in the past is, for residency, we come together for at least 4 days in the summertime, usually in July, where students can really face-to-face connect with their classmates and certainly people in their concentration specifically, and then of course faculty and staff. Now, as we look at the ongoing situation with the COVID and all that, and vaccinations, and we're trying to figure out where we're going with residency this summer. It may be conducted virtually, and if so, it will probably be done in a 2 or 3 day time period. But I know that the deans in the School of Education, and the faculty are discussing this. And of course, we want to help student learning and make sure we're taking care of that, ensuring our quality programs, but simultaneously, we absolutely want to ensure the safety of our students.
Dr. Pittman, may I add something regarding the residencies as well?
Please do.
Caitlin, may I?
Oh, of course, jump in.
The residencies, a lot of institutions view residencies as sort of a boot camp type of environment. That may work for them. What we do here at the School of Education regarding residencies, this is a wonderful time to begin creating that colleague base. This whole endeavor, this wonderful endeavor we call doctoral matriculation, and even education specialist matriculation, even at the master's level. It's a wonderful endeavor, and the thing that really enhances it is this thing is premised upon relationships. And the residency time is a very, very good time for us to form those relationships and begin creating these environments conducive to learning and having conversations that are outside the areas of study, just so that we can become colleagues during this wonderful process. So I know a lot of people really fear the residency, and as well as some people fear the doctoral dissertation as well. But you know what? The residencies are really enjoyable times where we begin the work. And this is a wonderful, wonderful endeavor, creating environments conducive to learning and becoming doctors during this process. I personally had a wonderful doctoral experience. I know a lot of people have had nightmares and hear nightmare stories about it. But you know what? I had a wonderful experience. And I had some professors who were examples and others who were non-examples. Me as a professor, I try to follow those who were examples, and I try to not do what the non-examples did. And one thing, trust is a paramount consideration, and we begin that during residency. So we begin the trusting, nurturing type of environments where learning and thinking and becoming a doctor flourish. I love it. I'm fired up about it. So,
well, Dr. Carr, not to belabor this, but really for all of our programs, it's about equipping students, not just getting a degree, not just taking courses. You mentioned about the process of becoming a doctor, but it's about us helping people to get equipped in that process to be successful, certainly in careers, but also in life.
And that's very true, Dr. Pittman. And another aspect of that, one caveat, is that as one matriculates in the program and they're going through courses, and it is a program of study. It isn't just one course or another course taken sort of separately. It's a program of study that's been very meticulously and thoughtfully designed for people to get from point A to point B, whatever that looks like according to their cognized goals and what they want to do. The really interesting thing about this is that one does become a doctor, and becoming a doctor encompasses environments whereby people can go out on a limb and they can make mistakes and they can learn from them. They can enhance their self-efficacy as well as their confidence. And you know what? They just flat become worth more because of the matriculation in our programs. We've had graduates, I've seen people, I think I'm on number 134 doctoral dissertations that I have directed successfully in my career at Regent University. And I think I've been on probably another 125 committees. I think Dr. Pittman, we hang out a lot and we do a lot of work together. Dr. Pittman and I do.
Yes, we do.
Dissertation committees. And he tolerates me very well. I'm smiling. But one thing about that, about doctoral matriculation and about working on these committees, a lot of people attend colleges and universities where it's difficult to get into, but it's even more difficult to get out of. So what we do, our posture is to help you. This is the first dissertation you will conduct, you will work on, will help you with that. So with that being said, the residencies and the other aspects of the program allow one to become a doctor, enhance one's self-efficacy, where the posture is basically, you know what, I don't know that, but I can certainly learn it. And they have the confidence to be able to do that. That's why doctoral matriculation just flat makes people worth more.
That's wonderful. I love, thank you for sharing those extra details. I love hearing about how, some of our alumni are able to be successful through their time here at Regent. And a follow-up question, I know that this was touched on a little bit, but could you expound a little bit more on the online learning environment for any of those students who maybe haven't taken online classes before or are feeling a bit of trepidation about studying online? Maybe what they can expect,
Dr.
how
Pittman?
much time they should
Yes, I'll be
figure into
glad
their
to take that.
schedules.
I'll be glad to take that question. And online is much different than on campus. And I've done both. And in my perspective, online gives students the potential for a much better experience. And here's why. Because we're not worried about meeting for 3 hours on Tuesday night. Typically, in most courses, you have a week in which to do discussions and that sort of thing. And so it's not synchronous. You have some time to do studies when you have availability in your particular schedule. But nonetheless, the discussion boards we do and things, those types of activities allow students to engage with one another and with the faculty in very, I think, very pertinent and poignant ways. And then the other thing about Regent is we're not out to get you, we're out to help you. And so from the very design of the courses, students know right up front the types of readings that are required each week, the activities that are required. You know when you start a course when assignments are due and what those assignments are. Our goal is not to say gotcha, but rather to really lay it out for you so that you can progress in a methodical way, but in an appropriate way to build your knowledge and skills. And so in the course of an 8-week course, which is accelerated, but that's what our students told us they wanted. And so typically students, folks who are working and who have families typically take one course at a time. And that seems to be, based on everything that we see as faculty and what students tell us, that's the kind of thing that works for students. And so, again, the goal is not to surprise you. The goal is to support your learning and to help you be successful.
And Dr. Pittman and Caitlin, may I add something to that as well? Thank
Please.
You. The e-learning platform is simply a delivery method. And may I be a bit informal, Kate? May I roll informal?
Of course.
Okay. You know, all of us know about, we've always made purchases on eBay and, you know, and Amazon and different places like that. Here's the deal. Here's the analogy I want to use about the e-learning platform. The e-learning platform is simply a delivery method. And it's a place where we can all go whenever, if you're up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're thinking about something, you can't sleep and you want to go and go into the course, it's available. People compare e-learning platform to face-to-face all the time. They're just flat different. And my analogy is that if you buy something on Amazon, you really don't care, if you're like me, what delivery method they use to get whatever you purchased to your house, as long as it arrives on time and it's reasonable in cost and it's also dependable. It gets there, the package gets there without being damaged. If one views the e-learning platform similarly, that's an online course really gives one the freedom to go in anytime he or she wants. The course materials are there. If there are any questions going on, I give, and Dr. Pittman does the same thing. We give the learners our cell phone number.
Right.
I get texts all the time. We're available. And if you go into the course and you're in there when no one else is in there, then you can call me or you can call Dr. Pittman and say, hey, I have a question about this. And you know what? We'll make your phone rattle in a heartbeat. And we really encourage the interaction. In essence, what we do is, and I say we, I'm speaking for you as well, Dr. Pittman, probably. I hope I'm
Yep.
not out of line, but
No, you're right.
we provide whatever one needs in order to be successful in the course. The delivery method should not get in the way of the learning. It should enhance it. And we've done this long enough, and we've done it. We've become probably pretty astute at it. I know Dr. Pittman has, but I'm still working to catch up with that guy because he's one of the best. What we do is we're there for the learners, where we check email, we check the courses from various locations throughout the day. So you're not out there on your own. If you have a question, about how to get to a piece or to navigate Blackboard, the e-learning platform or something like that, we have wonderful support systems for you at Regent University, at the School of Education, and even at the professorial level. And another thing, you'll be working with other students who are in the same course with you, and you'll begin to build this colleague base where if you have an issue, you'll go, hey, I don't know about this Dr. Carr guy. He seems kind of, I don't know. And you can talk among one another. You can have conversations, and then you know what? You contact me, and when you invite me into your group, that's a pretty neat thing, because that's when the camaraderie and we become colleagues during this wonderful process. So the e-learning platform is sort of a delivery method. You know what? I'll pick the phone up in a second and call someone. I provide my cell number in my syllabus. I've been getting a couple of texts right here as we were beginning this session, and it's really pretty enjoyable. The e-learning platform, the online format, does not get in the way of the learning. I promise you.
That's
Thanks.
wonderful. And that really ties back in with that point that I made earlier about accessibility. We want to make sure that, the education that you need to achieve next steps, to achieve your goals, is accessible, and that we're there to help you every step of the way. So I really appreciated that description, Dr. Carr. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We did have one other question come in that I can answer. It's admissions related. Someone asked, do they need to take the GRE to apply? Now, it depends on which program you're applying to. If you're applying to a master's program, then the answer is no. But if you are applying to the EDD or one of our PhD programs, then yes, it is a requirement. It's a firm requirement. So you will need to take the GRE for those programs.
Caitlin, can I just interject here? For the School
Sure.
of Education, actually, you do not need to take the GRE. So that is just for the School of Education, and the other schools, maybe that's true, but we actually just did away with that requirement. So come on in.
Okay, great. Well, and things are changing. As you know, we're always innovating to make the most of the experience and make it as easy for you as a student as possible, at least where we can. Of course, not when it comes to the courses or the content. You are going to have to work hard there. But wonderful. So I'm glad for that update. It looks like you do not need to take the GRE after all. And with that, we want to be respectful of everyone's time. So I'm going to go ahead and end the live portion of this webinar. However, if you do have any other questions, please use this contact information on this slide to get in touch with us. We're more than happy to help you and find answers for you. And again, a big thanks to Dr. Pittman and Dr. Carr. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Caitlin, and thanks to everyone for joining.
Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you for having us. And you know what? Regent University is a really good school. And may I say this before we roll? You know what? It's incumbent upon one, if you're going to spend the money and the time to begin a doctoral program or to begin an EDS program, you need to make certain The institution is going to be there for a while after you graduate. And the reputation of the institution is sterling. We have people, colleagues who are graduates of our program at the School of Education and at Regent University as a whole, who are in really pretty strong positions who know the institution will be there. And I have people who I've been at Regent for 20 years now, going on 21. I have students who were in my courses during my first year at Regent who pick the phone up or drop me an email. And they go, "Oh man, I'm looking for a reference. I'm really happy you're there." So consider those things. A lot of schools are, well, one just needs to make certain one goes to a good school. Regent University is a fine institution. The faculty are fine people. The administrators are the best. And you know what? You will get more than your money's worth out of a program at Regent University, especially the School of Education, because that's how we roll. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. I wholeheartedly agree. And with that, we wish you the best and wish you a good night.